Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Welcome to the online session once again with the same topic but with a new dimension of literary genres. So before we were discussing literary terms and now literary genres. So the same pages you would find 92 from your exercise booklet, 93, 94. So what is a literary genre? A genre is a particular style or type of writing. So genre means particular style or type of writing. That is the definition of genre. Now we have most common genres, two broader categories: fiction and non-fiction. In fiction, we have fables, folk tales, fairy tales, fantasy, mystery, myth, legend, historical fiction, realistic fiction, and science fiction. Other types of writing, also we have drama and poetry. So in today's class, inshallah, we would discuss about fiction, and in the next class we would discuss non-fiction. So fiction, by fiction mean writing that tells about imaginary people and events, stories that are made up. It means that those stories are not real. So they're called fiction. Imaginary, from your imagination. Among those imaginary stories, we have fantasy. One of them is called fantasy. So what does mean by fantasy? In this type of story, the author has created a magical world where anything is possible. Fantasy may include magical beings, talking animals, or other impossibilities. You can see like Harry Potter.
One ring to rule them all. One ring to fight them. One ring to bring them all.
Like you might have watched Lord of the Rings in the form of the movie Lord of the Rings. Harry Potter is also in the book and the movie. The second type of fictional story, we have historical fiction. By historical fiction, we mean stories with fictional characters and events in a historical setting. The story takes the reader back to a particular time period where they learn about the everyday life of a person. The character may interact with actual historical characters, but usually the main character is not based on a real person. So the story might be a real one, but the characters and setting would not be real. That's called historical fiction. Now, after that, we have science fiction. Stories based on real or imagined invention, space travel, or life in other worlds, usually set in the future. It often explores the unknown, so it's called science fiction. And in science fiction, you might be well aware of these kind: Star Wars, Star Trek, and other one. So these are science fiction. Now, after that, we have horror and mystery. So, by horror and mystery, fiction means horror is fiction in which events evoke a feeling of fright in both the characters and the reader. Mystery is fiction dealing with the solution of a crime or the unraveling of secrets. It means that it creates anxiety, fear, and you get scared, not only the reader but also the character also. And it just exposes one event after another to unravel, to expose, and goes to the main setting or the main problem or conflict within the story. So horror and mystery, it's unfolding one event after another, so there might be more than one conflict. The next one, we have realistic fiction. By realistic fiction, stories that could actually happen in real life. The setting is realistic, the characters speak and act like real people, the story describes real life problems and events. So realistic fiction means it can happen. It could have been happen, it can happen, and it would happen in real life. So that's why it presents a sort of realistic touch in characters and the way they talk and the way they behave. So from everyday life, these stories, real life problems. And after that, we have Fable. Fable is a short story, usually with animal characters, that teach a lesson about what is important in life. Aesop's fables and these kind of fable. So the characters in the form of animals, but gives a moral lesson. It does have a moral lesson at the end of each story. And we have in cartoons and this kind of stories. Next one is we have Folktale. Folktale, this kind of story told generation to generation, usually by word of mouth, sometimes different version in different cultures. Original storyteller is unknown, can involve animals, wishes, magic, trickery, and often the number 3. Now here you can see folktale, it's just spoken transmission of stories in the culture, in the society, from one generation to another generation, is transmit and people know that okay, my father told me like this, and my father told me that his father told. So this kind of stories. The next one we have myths. So myths are early people's way to explain the universe. Many gods and goddesses are present in myths. The gods and goddesses and heroes are superhuman in nature. Human emotions are experienced by the gods. Magic is often present in myths. Gods sometimes appear in disguised form. So, in the past, the people would explain the universe or universal action by giving these fictional characters to their stories created in their own imagination, and like the animals having wings or strange kind of character. So the origin come from Greek mythology, which is one of the oldest mythology. So it's called myth. The next one is legend. Legend, a story handed down from the past that people tell as a true story, but sometimes the details are difficult to confirm. The person telling the story usually does not claim to be an eyewitness to the events, but heard it from someone who knows someone who heard it from someone who was really there. So it's kind of, I heard and he heard and she heard, and just keeps coming from generation to generation, and it is anonymous. So legend often contain a moral or a lesson and are told to uphold the values of the community. They often involve supernatural or religious elements. So it is a supernatural world beyond the dominion of this planet. So something which can happen. This is called legend. It's also not true story, but is fictional and imaginative story. Now here we have tall tale. So what does mean by tall tale? The very word signify the meaning. Tall tale. Tale means story. Tall means tall. It means not true, exaggerated. Extraordinary person. The main character is better at things than an ordinary person. So he can do anything. Exaggeration makes something greater, bigger than it really could be. And explanation explain how something came to be. So fairy tale. Now the story in fairy tales often begins with once upon a time, long ago, and it includes a good character and a bad character. It includes magic or something enchanted. So enchanted related to magic. Involves a problem that is solved and the good people live happily ever after. So that is a fairy tales in which you can see long time ago, once upon a time, and you would come across these fairy tales. Setting is often a forest or a castle. Homework. My dear students, revise all these literary genres and try to keep in mind all the relative terms and expressions with proper understanding related to the topic. And inshallah, we will continue in the next class and try to finish these literary terms and genres. Thank you very much, and Have a nice